Hello and welcome back to the series of videos previewing the British and Irish Lions tour games against Australian Super Rugby franchises. My name is Hugh and in these videos we are deep diving the opposition the Lions will be playing. We'll be getting to know their history, naming their best players, identifying their strengths and most importantly pinpointing their weaknesses. If you like the sound of that, please consider subscribing to the channel. We've had a lot of growth on this channel lately and I would love it if you were along for the ride too. In this video we are talking about the Queensland Reds. So the Reds are from Brisbane on the east coast of Australia. They were founded in 1882, making them one of the two oldest rugby union teams in Australia full stop. They won the Super Rugby title in 2011 and they can trace their roots as a union as far back as 1876. Currently coached by Les Kiss, they finished 5th in the 2025 Super Rugby table, scoring 63 tries, making them the second top Australian franchise. Now let's talk about their key players. Harry Wilson is their best ball carrier. From 117 carries, he got 68% gain line success. The Reds are actually blessed with several very good ball carriers. You've got Joe Bryle, Filippo Daungunu, Hunter Paisami and Josh Canham all have very good carrying stats this season. In terms of ball in hand threat, you're talking about their scrum half Take McDermott. He has got 47% tackle evasion. For top try scorer, that would be hooker Richard Asiate. McDermott also chips in with 11 try involvements. Their top defender is Fraser McWright. From 216 tackles, he got 92% success. He had 11 dominant hits and won 18 turnovers this season. In 14 games, they are exemplary stats. We are led to believe that Joe Schmidt will not be releasing his Wallabies to play for their franchises against the Lions, and that's going to hurt the Reds quite badly. I think most of the players whose names I've read out there in terms of having positive stats will not be available for the Reds, so they should be hampered quite a lot. So that's their top players, and now let's talk about what their strengths are as a team. Now the Reds actually have a lot of very impressive stats, which is encouraging for Australian rugby as Les Kiss, their coach, is going to be taking over from Joe Schmidt as head coach of the men's national team. They had the top tackle percentage in Super Rugby. They were also top for offloads that assisted either a try or a line break in the world. That's Super Rugby Top 14 Premiership URC. No team had a better offload percentage supporting tries or line breaks. They had just 2% of their scrums were lost via a penalty. Now, the refereeing of scrummaging in Super Rugby has been a point of contention, a point of debate this season. Essentially, Super Rugby has tried to cut down on the dead time in games, as they call it, and what that means is the scrums maybe aren't great contests. It's ball in, ball out, let's play on, regardless of what happens. The referees have been told avoid blowing your whistle at all costs, basically. Having said that, everyone's been playing to the same rules, and the Queensland Reds are the second best in the world for scrums lost via penalty, so they do deserve some credit. They are top for metres per maul in the world. They are top for short passes in the world, so that tells us about their movements. They like to keep it tight rather than maybe spread it wide. They have the top conversion of 22 entries in Super Rugby, i.e. when they get into someone's 22, they are the best at turning that into points. Defensively, they are also top for missed tackles turning into line breaks, i.e. when they miss a tackle, it turns into a line break for the opposition the least amount. I hope that makes sense. They're also top for cover tackles in Super Rugby, i.e. when a tackle is missed, someone makes that tackle up. You might call that scramble defence, I suppose. So a team with a lot of strengths then, and honestly, it was difficult to find weaknesses for them. As I alluded to before, they don't move wide, and all of their wide movement stats are quite low. I don't know if that's a weakness or just something about the shape of how they play. They're the second worst at stealing line-out ball in Super Rugby. They had the second most yellow cards in Super Rugby, and they had the third worst for defenders beaten. They're not particularly evasive. But honestly, I'm not sure how bad any of those stats really are. I think that's just more about the shape of them, to be honest, rather than being definitely negatives. Now, the average scoreline for the Queensland Reds this season was a 30 points to 27 victory. So they do let in a few points, although at club level 27 is kind of normal-ish, and they are in the plus when it comes to points difference. Honestly, so many of their underlying stats are so positive, I wondered why the narrative around the Queensland Reds has been a bit negative this season for people who cover Super Rugby. And speaking to people, I understand is that they've got a great squad and they recruit very well and they've got a lot in their favour. So really, people say they should be better, and to go out in the quarterfinals where there was only 3 of them, don't ask, in Super Rugby this season was a bit disappointing. And having watched them a bit, they are capable of having some kind of dull moments, making bad decisions. Like, for example, take McDermott sniping from rocks in his own half, which doesn't lead to a try. You're never going to score like that, but it also means that their scrum half is now at the bottom of a ruck, so they can't exit properly. Now, on the 2013 tour, where the Reds faced the Lions, the final score was 12 points to 22, a Lions victory, but probably a lot closer than people were expecting. The Lions only scored one try in this game, and it was by a certain Ben Youngs. So as I said in the preview for the Western Force video, this is going to be a good step harder than their first game. So if I was Andy Farrell, I would be tempted to save some of my more frontline players, the players who I think will be involved in the first test, for this, and have this as the kind of first test team hitouts. On paper, based on the data that we have, we don't know very much about the invitational teams, the Pacifica team and the Anzac team. This is going to be the second hardest game they play ahead of a test, so I would go strong in this game. But as always, that's just one person's opinion. Let me know what you think of this game and what's going to happen in it in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.